Bonjour coach.
Good evening. Good afternoon, coach.
Dans ces matchs très intenses, il y a
In
toujours
this
une
very
donnée athlétique
intense
importante.
match,
On sait qu'Unai Emery,
there are
il y a
important.
à peu près 7 titulaires au repos ce
You
week-end.
know, we have Emery
Depuis un
and
mois, vous avez
we have
quasiment
main
jamais
players
joué
have
avec la même
been.
équipe
You give them some
Liverpool.
rest, and you haven't
Vous
played
n'avez pas de blessés
with the
avant
same
ce
team
rendez-vous.
as with
Comment
Liverpool
vous faites pour n'avoir
these
pas de
last weeks.
blessés
How do you do not to have injured
est-ce que
players, first
l'intensité,
of all?
comme en huitième de finale,
And
sera toujours la
do you
clé
think
du
the
match?
intensity will be the key to the victory?
Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Al final, cada entrenador tenemos nuestro estilo, nuestra manera de gestionar
In the
nuestras
end,
plantillas.
every
Lo que
coach
no hay
has their
ninguna duda
style
es que
and their way to
Unai
manage their
Emery es
team.
un experto
What is
en
sure
sacar
is that
rendimiento a los
Emery
equipos.
is an
Todos los
expert
sitios en los que ha estado
when
así
it
lo ha
comes
hecho.
to players'
Y
performance. Everywhere he's been
como
able to
hacemos
draw
cada uno, pues
the best from the
yo
players.
creo que
How do we
tiene que
do
ver
that?
mucho con la filosofía que tiene cada uno
I believe
a la
it's
hora de
got a
tomar
lot
las
to do with
decisiones
the
y
individual
estoy
philosophy.
seguro que
When we make
como entrenador
decisions,
siempre intentas que las decisiones
and
sean las
I'm
más
sure
acertadas, pero
that as a coach,
las
I'm trying to
personas que
make
tomamos
the
decisiones acertamos y fallamos.
I'm trying to make decisions as precise as possible.
Pero bueno, en ese caso estoy encantado de
This
que
is
no haya
the
lesiones,
general
solo está la
logic.
baja de Marqui, que es por
I'm just
tarjetas.
happy not to have injured
preparados
players.
para el
Only
partido de mañana.
Marquinhos is going to be missing because he's been suspended.
Arthur Perrault, RMC. Je ne sais pas si vous accordez de l'importance à cela, mais les bookmakers
I'm
vous
not
mettent
sure if
clairement
it's
favoris
important
sur
for
ce
you,
match.
but the
Le calcul a été
bookmakers
fait par
are actually
71% de
announcing you
chances
to
de se qualifier
be
pour le prochain tour.
the favorite.
Est-ce que
You
pour
have
vous, Paris est
71%
clairement
to
favori sur
qualify
cette
for
double
the next
confrontation
round.
contre Aston Villa?
Do you
Merci.
think you're the favorite team today against Aston Villa?
Yo creo que somos igual de favoritos que en la anterior eliminatoria contra Liverpool, que todos los de las
think
apuestas decían que no teníamos
It's
opciones.
even. It's not
o menos opciones.
not obvious. You know, against Liverpool,
No hay favoritos
we
en esto del
we
fútbol.
were said to have
Hay
less
8 equipos
chances than Liverpool,
que si
but
están
there's
en
no
esta fase es
favorites
porque
in
lo han
football.
merecido.
You have 8 teams.
8 equipos
If
que
they've reached this
pueden
phase,
pasar a la siguiente
that means
fase.
they've deserved
Y
to be there.
la carretera está llena
8
de equipos favoritos
potential
eliminados.
team that can
Así
reach
que
the following level.
vamos a hacer méritos
And
para
they have
ganar
many
el
favorites
partido
who've been
y la
eliminated on the
eliminatoria
way.
dentro del terreno de
So
juego,
we
que
will
es lo realmente
do what we have to do, and we'll make sure that we deserve to win on the pitch. That's what's going to be difficult.
Vous allez retrouver Unai Emery. Quel regard vous portez sur son
You will
travail?
play against Henry again. How do you view his work, you know?
Bueno, en primer lugar, para mí es una alegría volver a ver a Unai.
Well, first of all, it's such a
Y eso
joy,
que
a
nuestra
great,
amistad la
a
hemos
great
hecho a
moment. I'm happy
través
to see this man
de
again. You know,
enfrentamientos
I've
directos, porque no hemos
built a
compartido
relationship through
a lo largo de la
many
carrera,
matchups, and
momentos más íntimos.
throughout
Bueno,
our
siempre
careers,
una alegría saber que te vas a
we've
enfrentar a
had-
uno de los entrenadores con mejor trayectoria.
it's
a nivel,
great to be able
europeo, con
to
muchísimos
play
trofeos
against
ganados y un
such
entrenador que
a
cuida al
coach
detalle
that has
todo,
been
un gran
many
entrenador y
very, very great
gran equipo,
experiences in
Aston
Europe,
Villa,
and
que
he's a great coach, and Aston Villa
en
is a
los
great
últimos
team.
años ha mejorado
These
su nivel de la
past
mano de
couple
Unai
of
y
years,
que
this team has
está en
improved
cuartos de final por
its level, also thanks to Henry, and I believe, you know,
Bonjour Luis.
they
Luis
deserve
Enrique,
the.
le Parisien, quel profil d'équipe pose le plus de problèmes à votre PSG, selon vous? Et
What
est-ce que Aston
team
Villa a
will
ce
be the
profil?
most tricky team, you know, for PSG? And do you think Aston Villa could be one of
yo
these
creo que a lo
tricky
largo de
teams?
toda la temporada nos hemos
Throughout
enfrentado
the season,
a diferentes perfiles de
we've played against
No sabría
different
decir
type
cuál
of
es el que
team,
peor
different.
nos va, porque creo que los
I,
hemos
I
gestionado
don't think
de
I would be able
manera
to. I don't think
eficiente
I
la
know
mayoría
what
de las veces.
type of team would be the worst
Y
for
creo
us.
que
We've
la
always
Aston Villa de
managed,
Unai
you know,
Emery es
so
un
far.
equipo
And
parecido al
Aston
nuestro en
Villa
el sentido de que tiene
with
muchos
Henry
jugadores
looks
versátiles.
like
De
our
hecho,
team
es muy
in
difícil
the
acertar su
sense that
alineación.
they have very
A pesar de
versatile
que pueda
players,
haber
and it's
algunos
always
con
tough
más
to
minutos,
know what
difícil saber
what
quién va a
his
jugar,
starting
especialmente
11 is
después
going to be,
de
even though he
este
has players
mercado de
that
invierno que se
obviously
han
have more
vuelto a reforzar
game
bien.
time. But
Pero
after
es un
their
equipo
winter
que puede
mercado,
jugar
they
con un bloque
they
bajo,
reinforced the
puede
team
replegarse
very
en
nicely
la
with
zona
some
media o
players,
incluso puede
but they can
presionar
also
alto.
play, you
O
know,
sea que tiene
very densely in
diferentes registros.
defense,
Creo que en ese sentido también
and
nos
they have
parecemos.
different, you know,
Y
way
creo que
to
es
play, and
una
we also have
eliminatoria
this ability.
abierta,
So
complicada y
this
difícil para los
team
dos equipos.
is These two teams are really close, and it's going to be a really tough one for both teams. You said it, the only absent is Marquinhos. He's your captain. What does that change, you know, not to have your captain for such an important match like tomorrow? Nothing. No, he cannot play. I mean, nothing is changing. That's what's important. What have I repeated to you almost every day? I came here to the conference places. What's the most important? No, it's okay. Marquinhos cannot play. He's our captain. He will be on the bench. And he will be able to watch his team and his teammates. And that's the strength of a team. You know, of our team, when we're missing a player. One player you're going to play against was Asensio, you know. What do you think about his performance in Aston Villa? Do you think, you know, this guy still, this player belongs to Paris and he's playing against you now? No, I'm not bothered. I'm not fazed. I mean, actually the opposite. If he can play, Asensio can play. He wasn't able to play here with us, so now he had this option to go to Birmingham. So of course it's great that he can play. I know him very well, more than you actually. I've shared a lot of things with him in the national selection, national squad. I've had him, you know, for the World Cup. He's a very important player for me. It was really important last season, and this season he was also really important at the beginning of the season. And I know him perfectly well. Marco Asensio is a really high-level player. He has won many trophies, one of the most crowned in Europe, and he's got a he's a technical player, one of the highest, the best technical player in Europe. We know that in this competition, teams that actually go all the way, Madrid is an example, are the teams which are really performant at the end of the competition. You know, you've been going really strong, you know, for the past 3 months. Do you think the team is able to, you know, surf this wave and keep pushing, you know, just like now? Or maybe you need something new, maybe to, you know, to like for the last push, you know, to go all the way? I believe that we will keep seeing Paris as a great team playing the same way with the same intensity, even probably more intensity. Tomorrow is a match that, in terms of intensity and technicality, will be at such a level, you know, at the highest, probably its highest level, and I'm convinced that we'll be able to perform in the same manner. You know, we've seen it, you know, in the past days. You know, the energy is different, the players, the way they practice. It's such like a very pure moment, and I'm not really worried now. You know, what maybe worries me is to be able to adapt, you know, to what these 2 matches are going to be, the team is going to offer on the pitch. And it's really important to control emotions, because there are so many things happening around the players. You cannot control emotions only if you control your mind, you know. The heart is going to be around, the people is going to be there. We're playing on home turf. You know, this positive energy that we see, we have to use this to our advantage. So I repeat, controlling emotions is the key in this type of matches. Tomorrow will be your 100th match for PSG. What does that represent to you, you know, and what are you the most proud of, you know, since you came to Paris? These are just numbers, you know. It's not so important, you know. Julien actually told me about this, the fact that it's my 100th match, and I'm proud, you know. 100 games. I hope that I will keep, you know, playing another 100, and, you know, we have to deserve these matches and keep improving. We know Aston Villa is really strong, especially in transition. So, about Hakimi, you know, he usually play really high, you know, high up. Do you think it could be a key, you know, for this match? I don't think that the positioning of one player can actually change the course of everything. You know, it goes beyond the position of one player. For sure, Aston Villa is able to transition, move the ball back from the back, and they can actually manage spacing. They have this ability to attack from the back all the way through, even with players playing at the back. They're really hard to control. They have lots of different profiles with their players, their squad, within their squad, and this will actually, we will need to be able to produce a very high level of defense and also very efficient of offense and control. When players are coming from the midfield, it's always hard to control these players, and it's hard work, for us. But whether there's one player that's higher up or lower, it doesn't make much difference. You just indicated that the key would be the control of emotions, controlling one's mind. Your team is really young, so facing a team that's got maybe a little bit more experience, do you think in these very last hours you should maybe insist on these and talk to your players so they don't get tricked? Especially playing against guys that are more experienced, other players that are more experienced. Well, it's all about mental. It's not about age. Some people are 40 and they can't really control their mind. Some younger players sometimes are more mature. So I think Aston Villa they're really clean. They play great football. They can defend very well. They're not a violent team. And I think in this sense, we will have two teams that look alike, but that are also very different with their own characteristics. But it will be, I believe, an open match. It will be intense, and it will be a complex match. I don't think it could be any different. So Désiré Doué is such a great energy. Really shows up a lot on the pitch. It was decisive also with a cross from Vara last week. Sometimes spacing is rare, but how do you allow him? How do you guide him towards controlling the spacing and the dribbling? Obviously, players have different profiles. There's a series of things that they can improve, work on. Marquinhos has a lot of experience, but he also can and able to improve lots of different things. Improving goes beyond your ability and also your age. In this sense, Désiré Doué, in regards to some aspects of the game, can improve, of course, but I'm really happy about every player. I'm very happy about the players who came this season. Their performance has been immediate, and it's very important to generate competition, within the team. We've been able to celebrate, a title, League One, really lightly, but we would love to now, face the challenges that are coming up, and obviously the Champions League challenges. I would like to get back to this mental aspect. We will never get eliminated through fear. That's what you said, We've seen that throughout the shootout, period, against Liverpool, for example. You've been able to be strong mentally, How do you work on that? Through videos? What's your technique? Well, if we would have lost the shootout against Liverpool, we wouldn't have this mental ability. No, mental ability doesn't depend on results. I think it's important to convey certain things. But like when we've lost against Morocco through shootout, so it's the same thing for every coach. We talk about strength, mental strength when we lose, when we win, but we also need to talk about it when we lose. So I don't link directly. It's important that even if the team is really young, if you don't know how old they are, you've just seen them going beyond like humongous challenges. Last season, we've had to go win quarterfinals. you know, with a deficit on the first leg. So now, you know, we've seen that we've been able to go beyond these difficulties, and we have to try and to keep showing the same image of our team. There will always be losses, but we also mature enough to face a loss. The past 3 matches, it was the beginning of your matches were a little bit maybe tougher. How would you approach this, the beginning, the very start of the match against Aston Villa? This competition doesn't allow you to release to lower your level at any moment. You cannot reach the quarters or the semis when you're not able to play at the high level throughout the entire match. If you lower your level, you will get punished really fast. So you have to keep that pressure. I would like to ask you a question about Nuno Mendes. They started this match in League One on the bench. During the Champions League, where you need actual rhythm, you know, do you think this could help them to start on the bench? No, I won't tell you, who's going to start, So whomever is going to start is going to be focused on the competition. And those who are going to enter in the second half will also be prepared to do so. And the ones who are not going to be able to play are also going to be ready, I think when you reach this level in the competition, everyone wants to play, of course, but then the strength of our team, and this team is very important, is that everyone is going to be ready.
Hola, mister. Buenas tardes. Juanjo Rueda de Caliente TV México. Como dice, ya estamos en un momento de la temporada donde han pasado
So as you said, it's a crucial moment. There have been 12 matches in the Champions League. If you could pick one of these matches to repeat the same performance, which match would you pick? From the Champions League, yeah, at home against Liverpool, losing, conceding 1 goal, losing 1-0. Yes, I couldn't change the result for this match, but yeah, this is football. This match represents such a great moment for us, and we've lost it, and this is football. So you talk about Henry, this coach, with so much experience, has won a lot. Do you have this feeling that his CV, his fantastic CV, resume, he doesn't have this media recognition? I don't know. I don't actually read the press. I don't check the media. And if he's not recognized enough, please give it to him, because he deserves that. He's a great coach. He showed that everywhere he went. Every team he was working with, he's got so many titles. He's always there. He's got this unlimited energy. I hope he won't have these great results against us, but yeah, still wish him the best.
Yeah, from TV2 Norway, asking English. When you see your team now, and see the changes, what would you say is the biggest one and the one that makes you the most happy?
Well, there are many things that feel me proud, but I have to say maybe the energy that we have every single match, the constance, and the happiness. We are a happy team. We try to enjoy playing football, and I think that's very important. Okay?